Hi guys, Kunmi here. Merry Christmas to you and I wish you a beautiful year ahead. Thank you so much for being supportive this year. I'm really grateful. You make me want to do more. Thank you. Briefly today, I want to show you how I cut and sew this bubu with an inbuilt collar. It's really easy yet so classy without wasting time. Let's get started. So this is the fabric I will be using. I used a total of 4 yards. The first thing I will do is to place my client's shoulder measurement. Our shoulder is 16, half of that is 8. So I will be marking 8 inches. Right away from that 8 inches, I'll place my tape on this 8-inch marking and I will mark 4 inches. If you are wondering what it is for, it's for the shoulder pleat. Now I will extend my client's shoulder measurement all the way to the hem of the dress. Remember, half of my client's shoulder measurement is 8, so I'll be marking 8 all the way to the hem of the dress, then I'll connect with my ruler. When I'm done doing that, I will go back to the shoulder and extend the 4 inches all the way to the hem of the dress. Don't forget the 4 inches is for the shoulder pleat. Look at this. I've extended the shoulder measurement all the way. Now I will be extending the allowance for pleat, which is 4 inches. The next thing I will do is to locate the midpoint of that 4 inches, which is 2 inches. Now I'll be marking 2 inches all the way to the hem of the dress. This is optional, but if you really want a soft landing with this dress, you have to just indulge it. Everything I did on this side, I'll flip the fabric to the other side and do likewise. Then I will open up and repeat the same process. I've done that and this is what I have. Can you see? If you check the shoulder, you will see that my markings are aligned. It means everything I did was accurate. Now let me open up for you to see. So I did the same thing right here as well. Can you see? So before we can do anything else, we will have to come to the hem of the dress. You can start from any side of your choice. We are going to fold the fabric like this, ensuring that the 2 inches we marked, which is the midpoint of the pleat, is truly at the center. Then you are going to stitch directly on the marking all the way. So I've done that. I've placed folded my fabric into two. I'm just ensuring the upper pleat is aligned with the pleat underneath. Then I'm pinning. Now let me show you something. One pleat should face the right like this, both the one on top and underneath, while the other faces the left. Your pleat on no account should face each other. I've folded my fabric back into four. Can you see? I'm just checking the midpoint to see that it's well folded. You will know by the thickness. The next thing I will do is to indicate my client's half length. I'm so sorry, I didn't realize that was off camera. So right on the half length is where I will be placing my client's waist measurement. Our waist is 44. Divided by 4 plus 2 inches extra gives me 13. So I'll mark 13. The next thing I will do is to mark 18 inches downward from that half length that I just marked. That is going to become my client's hip line. Then I'll divide her hip, which is 50, by 4 and add 2 inches extra to it. So that gave me 14.5. So I'll be marking 14.5 on my client's hip line. Then I'll connect the hip to the waist. After this, I will proceed to the hem of the dress and take away 1 inch from what I have at the hip line. That means I'll be marking 13.5 at the hem of the dress. You know I marked 14.5 at the hip, right? So I'll minus 1 from it and mark 13.5. Then I'll connect the hip to the length of the dress. This is my client's shoulder measurement. Right from that shoulder measurement, I can then proceed to indicate my client's preferred sleeve length. I'll mark the sleeve length and then add the hemming allowance to it. Then I will indicate my client's preferred round sleeve length. Our preference is 16, half of that is 8. Then I will add 0.7 to it, which is going to be for seam allowance. The next thing I will do is to place the bust measurement. I will just place my tape like this, divide the bust by 4 and add 2 extra inches to it. That gives me 13.3. I will approximate and mark 13.5. I will divide our bust by 6 and add 1.5 inch to it to get the armhole depth. That's what I'm going to mark right here. After which, I'll place my tape like this and mark all the way to the allowance I give the sleeve. I'm going to check right here where I mark the bust. I'm going to place it all the way to the round sleeve allowance. I'm going to check if what I have at the upper part is what I have right here. I just realized that I have 0.7 inch extra right here. So thankfully I cross-checked. If not, there would have been a little bit of error at this point. I'm going to simply connect upward like this. Then I'll connect the bust measurement to the roundness of the sleeve. Then I'll go ahead and connect the bust to the waist. Can you see? The next thing I will do is to come down at this point by 2 inches, place my ruler and give it a slight curve. Then I'll trim out. This is what we have. We've done similar style a couple of times on this channel. That's why I am not so detailed about it. I'm going to notch the waist and the hip before I proceed. So this is the neckline. I will use a wideness of 4 and a depth of 0.5 for the back piece. I'll connect with my ruler and give it a slight curve. When I'm done, I will simply trim out. As for the depth of the front neckline, I will be using a bust point, which is 12.5. So I'll mark that, connect like this, trim off the back neckline while I leave the front for now. So push the back like this, ensure the two shoulders align, then fold like this to enable you trim off the front neck depth. Before now, we neither add front nor back, but once we cut the depth of the front neckline, we'll be able to differentiate the front from the back. I'm just going to secure with my pin. This fabric is very soft. I'm going to carefully pin, then trim out the depth of the front neckline. This is what we have. Can you see? It's looking more like it now. We are going to have to stitch the sides, but before then we'll have to cut the pockets. Fold your fabric into 4, then trim out, trace your palm like this and trim out. Like I said, my fabric is folded into 4. That's because we need 2 pieces for each side of the pocket. I have attached the pocket to the waist. I came down by 1 inch from the waist and I attached the pocket. I'm going to stitch the pocket first, overlock, then stitch the side of the dress with 0.7, which is my seam allowance. So I'm not going to stitch all the way to the hem of the dress because it's going to have a slit. I will mark the hemming allowance I give the gown. Then from the hemming allowance, I will determine how long I want the slits to be. I'll be using 15. So when I get to that 15, I will just reverse. Then I will stitch to the hem of the dress. I won't reverse at the hem of the dress because I will lose it back. I'm going to do the same on the other side. So I have stitched like I said, and I have also overlocked, and this is what I have. When I got to 15, I reversed and then I stitched all the way to the hem. That's because I want to open up and give it a good press. I want the slits to really form well. So I'm going to open up like this and give it a really good press before I insert my hemming gum. And then fold. So this is it. I've folded the hem, I've ironed hemming gum in the slit, and this is what we have. So we are left with the neckline because I've also folded the hemming allowance I give the sleeve. So what you are going to do is to come to the shoulder or wherever you want to start from. As for me, I'll come to the shoulder, to one shoulder and mark all the way around. So whatever I have is what I will use to cut the collar. I have folded my fabric into four. I'm going to place half of what I got at the neck, and I'm going to add zero point 0.5 sewing allowance to it. So I want the wideness of the collar to be 2 inches. So I'm marking 5. When I fold into 2, I'm going to have 2.5. By the time I stitch with zero point 0.5, I'm going to be left with my preferred wideness, which is 2 inches. I'm just going to connect like this, then trim out. Open up, fold into 2 like this. Place your curve ruler and just give it a slight curve. Get your cutting stay at this point, then iron it on the rough side of the collar. Locate the midpoint. I have folded the collar into 2, located the midpoint, and then I drew it downward. I'll be marking 4 inches. So I'm going to stitch from that 4 inches to the pointy part of the collar. Then I'll notch this and the other side as well. I have stitched and this is what I have. I'm going to ensure the 2 notches I made align, and I'll proceed to attach to the main fabric. Mind you guys, I later increased it from 4 inches to 5. I'm going to ensure the 2 shoulders align as well, and I'm going to indicate the midpoint of the back neckline. Then I'm going to ensure the notch I made on the collar aligns with the notch I just made on the back neckline. Now you're going to simply place the right side of your collar on the right side of your fabric, of your main fabric now, and you're going to pin. Go over to the pointy part of the collar and just pin temporarily like this. Flip to the wrong side, then pin carefully all around. So this collar is a little tricky. It can give you a little bit of a tough time if you are not careful. Now let me show you how I did mine. Come to the back. You are not going to stitch all around per se. You are going to stitch one side, come to the notched part and stitch like this all the way to the pointy edge, then go to the other side and stitch all the way to the pointy edge. The second secret I want to let you in on, when attaching the collar to the main fabric, flip it. Don't stitch on the collar, stitch on the main fabric. That way you see what is happening underneath. The third logic I want to let you in is when you get to the pointy edge, reduce your seam allowance to zero point 0.2. You know, all along you were attaching the collar to the main fabric with zero point 0.5. When you get to the pointy edge, reduce it to 0.25. I have stitched as you can see, but I have not overlooked the edge yet. So this is what I have. Can you see? This is how I said you should stitch. Stitch on the main fabric. This part should face up when you are stitching. So this is what I have. Oh my god, I can't emphasize this final logic enough. Don't leave any seam allowance at this pointy edge. Overlock it to the barest minimum. You can then top stitch if you want. So guys, we've come to the end of this tutorial. I'm just going to show you what the inner part looks like, and I'm going to show you that part I said I increased to 5 inches. So this is it. You know, initially I marked 4 inches, but I tried the dress on. I realized my client's head will be able to pass through comfortably, except that our cleavage will show. So I had to increase it to 5 inches and not 4. I had to close the neckline by 1 inch. That's what I mean. So this is what I have. This is the rough side. Can you see how neat it is? Let me show you the slit. This is this. Can you see how neat it is? I didn't stitch it. I just ironed my hemming gum in there, and this is what I have. But I stitched the hem of the dress. Remember, I said the slit is going to be 15 inches long, so that's it. I feel the need to explain why I decided to add 2 inches to each of my measurements. For instance, the hip. My client's hip is 50. 50 divided by 4 plus 2 gives me 14.5. The fabric is on 4 foot. If you multiply 14.5 by 4, it means you are going to have 58 inches by the time you open up the fabric. Now, the seam allowance I held on the side of the dress is 0.7. So there are two pieces on each side of the dress. By the time I hold 0.7 on the two piece on one side, I would have held 1.5. By the time I do likewise on the other side, I would have held another 1.5. In total, I have held 3 inches. So if you take away 3 inches from the 58 inches we got when we multiplied 14.5 by 4, you would be left with 55. 3 minus 58, you'll be left with 55. So my client's hip is 50. It means we have 5 extra. So I just take it that by the time my client wears the dress, she's going to experience a ease of 2.5 on the left and 2.5 on the right. So I just felt it was fair enough. It wouldn't be so big on her. That's how I decided to use 2 inches. I calculated first. I tried with 3 and then I felt no, it would be too big on my client. So I reduced it to 2. I calculated and I felt it was perfect for me. If you do the same calculation on the waist, you are going to have 5 inches extra, except for the bust when I approximated 13.3 to 13.5. So it's only the bust where I have 5.5 inch, which is also fair. It means my clients will have ease of 2.7 on both sides of our bust. I hope you understand. So what you need to know is how free your clients will want the dress to be on their body. Then you decide the ease you want to add to your own. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, kindly share, and subscribe to my channel. Also, leave me comments in the comment section. I love to hear from you.